Hey everyone, welcome to Midnight Cherry TV. If you're new to the channel, what we're going to do today is we're going to look at a comic book here. There have been a little bit of a change of plans here on. Originally, we're going to have the Ferryman week. We were going to have 7 videos devoted to each of the crowdfunded books we've gotten here at the station at Midnight Cherry TV. But what we're going to do instead is we're going to take a little bit of a longer look at each book. So give a little bit of critique, give a little bit of praise where we like it, call the things we enjoyed, talk about and enjoy it. But again, if you like what you see here, if you like what I discuss about the Ferryman, then definitely hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, of course. But let's get into it here. So the Ferryman was Sean Campbell, Torona Salguero, but again, Sean Campbell, kind of the creator writer of the Ferryman. I got his autograph there. And it was the book and the poster of the same artwork, both signed by Sean Campbell. Overall, the book is sort of a combination. It's not really a horror, even though the cover does have the skeleton, of course. It's more of a supernatural science fiction tale. It talks about the afterlife a lot, but we can go into it here. But let's take a look at these credits first. Sean Campbell, Dennis Torona, Esther Salguero, Taylor Swift, Jonathan Moore, Troy Torres, James Liswood, and then you got the guest illustrators. You got a kind of all-star lineup there. James Liswood again, but Troy, Mr. Marvel Torres from Wanpool, Luigi Terrell from Rags, and then Abai Canales from Iron Sights, of course. Timothy Lim from Trump Space Force and Black Ops and all kinds of other stuff, and then Eliza Forrest. And then check out those thank you. Check out that thank you page. Look at kind of a who's who of comic book Twitter. Definitely a lot of OG Comicsgate people there. If you're into the Comicsgate world, but for sure, definitely a quality book. I enjoyed it for the price of I think it was $15 or $20 for the poster and the book. It was pretty hard to beat from my opinion at least. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to read these character bios. Now, people don't like, they want to see a big image artwork right in the first thing. But I think I'm okay with sort of a character bio sort of layout. It doesn't bother me as much, especially like with a weighty book like this, and especially since I know it's going to be continued. There's going to be an issue 2. I'm kind of okay with it. So I know people probably judgmental about that, but I'm going to read a couple of these, and you can kind of sit back, enjoy, listen, and kind of refresh your memory of the Ferryman if you read it, or if you didn't read it, and if you didn't pick it up, then maybe this can be kind of a starting place to see if you might like it, see if you might be interested in it. But let's see if I can get that in focus there. But yeah, Miles Armstrong right there. Yeah, trying to get that in focus so you guys can read along here. But yeah, Miles is a recovery agent for ELH, the biotech corporation that gave the world Project Glory. That may sound like a good job, but it doesn't take a lot of skill or enthusiasm to drive around the streets in the middle of the night downloading the dead. He sleepwalks through his job and his life. No one seems to notice. Miles is a recovering addict struggling to get by. He decided to go clean 2 years ago after a family tragedy tore his world apart. He took the job at ELH to help put his life back together. After a few more years, if he can make it, he qualifies for a free Glory implant. Now, Glory is, now I am going to definitely spoil some of this book for you. So if you have not read the book, or if you plan on maybe reading it down the road and you don't want things spoiled, this is probably a good time to tune out. But Glory is sort of this Matrix-esque afterlife. It's sort of like a technological afterlife provided by a corporation, the ELH Corporation. The main characters, you've got Miles, who works for the Glory Corporation, and then Tara, who is a journalist, and Nakoa, who's also sort of private security for Tara. And actually, we'll just kind of run through. I just kind of gave you the rundown there. You have Tara right there, journalist for TP Media. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, again, it's 2051. It is the future. You've got Nakoa right down there also. But private security for the journalist. But we can get into the book here. So right off the bat, you've got now there is a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of dialogue in this book, and I'm sure that that's going to turn some people off. But this book it touches on a lot of interesting things. It's a good science fiction story because I think the best science fiction stories kind of talk about a lot of things at the same time. But so anyways, so you've got this guy who signs up for the glory. He gets the installation here. Gets the glory implant installed. So he's got now this fictional afterlife. He goes to visit the family. And then you get the sad scene of the suicide, right? So so right off the bat, you have this kind of father character, and he gets his implant for a fictional afterlife, and then commits suicide. So it's a dark moment, but then that's where we meet Miles, who comes in to basically download the soul, download the mind, however you want to think about it. I think about it as a soul. I think the afterlife and sort of the idea of turning it into commodity is sort of one of the kind of back themes in this comic, at least in my opinion. I could be wrong, but yeah, some pretty good artwork there. Kind of giving you the Miles breakdown. There he is right there, first appearance. So, but then you've got yeah. So there's kind of this banter between him and the police officer. Now the police officer who's there with the death, they have this discussion about where the police officer has seen a lot of deaths, he's seeing a lot of suicides, he's getting upset at stuff, kind of how can you do this job sort of discussion, which is a pretty interesting kind of way to go about it. I think I definitely enjoyed that little scene, and they touch on it again, but it's pretty good. But we got the first guest artwork, and again, it's a pretty beefy book for a pretty cheap crowdfunded book, which is pretty enjoyable. One of the nice things about this is you have a mixture of these kind of pinup art pieces with an actual journalistic sort of written, if I can find that, written article from the character Tara right there. So, and that's actually artwork by Canales from Iron Sights. You can kind of see his unique style, which I personally enjoy. But it's a good time. But yeah, so it gives you that kind of there's definitely a lot of comic writers, kind of old school comic writers. I think Alan Moore, Gaiman, they're like that sort of. And again, I'm giving you the the bigger names here. But the beauty of them is they can mix in a lot of varieties of writing styles, and I think Sean actually does it. I think the journalist article kind of works. I think the balance of Miles with the kind of military journalist characters is pretty good balance as well. But yeah, this first pinup is Troy Mr. Marvel Torres from Wanpole. The life you always wanted is waiting for you. Glory. Coming summer 2045. So that again, I think this takes place in 2060 something, if I'm not mistaken. But so we meet Nakoa, and we meet Tara, the journalist, and they're kind of going into a situation here. I don't want to ruin this sort of story. I'm going to let you kind of get to that yourself. I don't want to ruin too much of it. But it's sort of it evokes kind of thoughts of because it takes place in Syria, so there's a little bit of discussion of kind of war and battle, and kind of can you leave the battle at home, or bring it home with you or whatever. It's kind of it's an interesting little discussions here and there in this scene for sure. And of course, this guy gets blown away right there, so we do get a little bit of violence in there, of course, which people enjoy. And then you get this kind of character here. I believe his name is Rabadi, or Amar Amadi. He's got a check that out. He's got cybernetic arm action there, which is pretty cool. And then of course a shootout is going to occur. So there's action, a shootout, pretty awesome stuff there. You've got whole action scene. Then check out those pretty sweet cybernetic arms. Those are pretty badass. I think you got to enjoy those. But again, that's the thing is like you start off with some heavy dialogue, but those characters are talking characters. So when you do get these action characters, you do get action scenes, and I think that's kind of my big thing with comics is that it needs to match. It needs to match what's going on. I don't want to see the middle of a X-Men fight, and they're talking. So the idea that like there's a fight happening and there's not a ton of dialogue, to me is a positive. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I think that's well done right there. But and then you get the Rags pin up there, cybernetic collection, always looking pretty hot with the people like the red hair, always a fetish. But and then you get the Canalis artwork we talked about earlier with the journalist article, which kind of a lot of people are going to skip by this. Definitely people focus on artwork and comic books, which is fine. Which is that is over more than 50% of the reason people buy comics. So that's for me too. But I do love reading as well. So when I get something like this, I like to read the comic, kind of go back to it, read it again. It was definitely an interesting read, sort of an interview with Tara and Amar Ahmadi, and there's sort of an interesting take of the idea that this technological afterlife is sort of imposing its will on people who have beliefs. So it's like whether you're Christian or whether you're Jewish or Muslim or whatever, you have an idea of an afterlife. And so the idea for me that it can be sort of monetized basically, and turned into this sort of fictional, sort of computerized Matrix sort of experience is I think it's always a good fertile territory. But and then you get Miles. He goes into Glory to meet his family, to meet some family that have we don't know exactly what's happened to them. But he brings him a gift. That's sort of a download within Glory of a battle buddy, and the battle buddy is sort of a little friendly, cutesy creature that has a bazooka and sort of battles with the kids. Sort of a fun kids toy. But and again, you get Miles. He gets back out of Glory and he goes about his night, picking up all these dead souls and these sort of minds of people who have had the Glory implant. And then you get a Battle Buddy ad by Tim Lim. This is Tim Lim's pen up here. The super cute Battle Buddy. Of course, buy it now. But always enjoyable. Kind of a fun little diversion in the middle of this kind of heavy sci-fi book for sure. And then you get Miles. He gets one last call here for the night. I'm gonna ruin the sort of ending of this book, but it's gonna make you excited for issue 2, which I think comes out at the sometime after the new year. Here in 2019, but so Miles right there, he's out there to pick up the new implant bodies, and it's an old couple. Well, the old couple is the people who created Glory, so it's a little bit of a twist there. That's a young images of the creators of Glory, right? But one of their heads has been taken. The Glory implant is missing. So it's a hot pursuit. You've got Miles sort of on the run, not on the run, just sort of trying to get everything done. He's talking to his boss, kind of making things happen. He's basically he's in the middle of sort of actually I believe asking the phone operator on a date when of course this crash happens, this explosion, not crash, explosion, and there's a rush to go get the implants and /souls /minds that he's taken, and there's a sort of glowy character there, and it's the woman, it's the co-creator of Glory, and there's our man from the beginning right there. He good to go, I believe he says right there. But yeah, so that's the thing. You've got this whole storyline going out throughout the book of these people who have had the implant and then die, and then come back and appear living again. So that's going to be definitely, I think, where issue 2 is going to take the Ferryman. But again, I enjoyed it. I think for the price and the quickness of the fact that I received it fairly quickly, you've got to give it up for Sean Campbell and the rest of the people involved. Now I know they've been working on it for a while, but I'm happy. Happy I bought it. I'm glad I funded it. It was a very enjoyable read. I'm definitely going to keep it in my collection for quite a while, and I'm excited for Ferryman number 2. So yeah, that's kind of my take. My take on the Ferryman. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed all the and again, I really did enjoy all the pinups. I enjoyed all the pinups and that journalistic article. I think it's going to catch some flack. Certain people don't like that sort of stuff. They want to just see sort of huge art spreads. But if it's good, it's good. Is kind of the way I look at it with comic books. If it's good and you treat me nice as a customer, then I'll back you. I'll support you as a creator, and that's kind of what I'm thinking with the Ferryman. So I'm excited for Ferryman number 2. But again, from Midnight Cherry TV, I'm glad you're watching this video. Hope you enjoyed your copy of the Ferryman, or if you did not, I hope you saw something. Maybe you're going to check out number 2. Maybe get your hands on issue 1. Get them both at the same time. But let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know what you think of this format. I plan on doing this a little bit of a longer format for more comics coming down the road, including some old back issues. I'm going to look at some Demon and some other stuff, but we're going to look at Black and Red, the art book by Elliot Fernandez pretty soon, as well as Iron Sights, as well as Blue Mamba. So those are all in my possession, so I'm going to look at those next. But for Ferryman, I really enjoyed it. Congratulations on kind of creating a good independent comic. And again, hit the like button, leave me a comment, let me know what you thought, and we'll see you again here on Midnight Cherry TV for another comic review or another history stream or whatever you enjoy here on the channel. Thanks a lot, guys. See you again.